Now this really must be the strangest video I've ever begun. But you'll see why in a second. Just let me move a little bit closer. This video starts off by being a thank you to Lee, who handed the Prime Minister her P45. Mobile phone pretending to be P45, but imagine P45, Lee did that. Lee was a comedian. Now here's where the video gets interesting, and here's why I have to stand like this. In society, as it becomes more and more right-wing, as fascists take over, like the Tories, suddenly even being funny can become a crime. A crime that, in the case of this joke, may well have had the comedian executed or sent to a concentration camp. One of my favourite gags. Can't remember who told it, but a comedian comes on stage, storms up to the microphone like this, looking very military, and he says, in a German accent, of course, "Last year, we were on holiday in the Obersalzberg, and the grass was this high." A joke. A joke that, when you told that particular joke in Germany at the time, may well have cost you your life. Look what happened to Lee. Look what happened to the man. He was arrested for, I believe, behaviour likely to cause a breach of the peace. Lee was arrested for a joke, a prank, if you like. He got arrested. Whereas the people who were doing the talking there, the Tories, the woman doing the speech, the woman who has effectively consigned 30,000 sick and disabled people to their deaths, having declared them fit to work by the DWP, or the Work Capability Allowance, assessment rather, she doesn't get arrested. Okay, to go back to what this was going to be about in the beginning all over again. The one thing the Tories are good at, and it's something that we've seen constantly, and it's something that patterns and actually is a part of every fascist regime there's ever been. They're great at turning people against each other. Have a look at this graphic for a second. I've just photographed it and then I'm going to use it, okay? Just take a quick look at that. Just take a few seconds just to read it, and I'll go through those points, because I think this is a very important graphic. And note the last word is Nazis. Let's go through what the Tories have done. First, the Tories turned the public on the poor. You remember Benefit Street. You remember people who are scroungers, worthless, what Germans wertlos Esser, worthless eaters, poor people who contribute absolutely nothing, poor people who are homeless on the streets, and when you go for a good night out, they just make the place look untidy, don't they? We don't like poor people. Having done that, of course, similar line, they turn them against benefit claimants. Suddenly, anybody claiming any benefit, even in-work benefits, was a, get the word, favourite word, altogether now, scrounger. Everybody was a scrounger, weren't they? Had the immortal speech about, you get up in the morning at 6 o'clock while it's still dark, you're about to leave for work, you come, just before you do, you don't even see the curtains twitching next door because you know that unemployed person's going to stay in bed all day, and you're going to go to work to support that unemployed, scrounging person and you go to work feeling really angry, and as you go to your job, you go, "Get a job!" Yeah, they turn them against benefit claimants. Of course they've turned them against the disabled. Myself, my wife, people from disabled people against the cuts. We constantly are portrayed in the media as scroungers, worthless eaters, a drain on society. We're not really disabled. My wife's not really mentally ill. You don't have a physical illness that prevents you working. You're putting it on. Of course, naturally, turn the public against us, and that's what they've done. Another one, of course, turn the public against immigrants or migrants. Every one of them is a potential terrorist, didn't you know that? Get Katie Hopkins on your side. Say we'll send gunboats to destroy them in the Mediterranean. Say we'll sink them rather than help them. Turn them against each other, of course. Then, of course, naturally, they turned us against the Muslims. Yeah? Another little scapegoat. Well, in fact, so many billion scapegoats. Anybody commits a terrorist act, well, there are 1.3 or 3.1 billion Muslims to blame, because obviously all Muslims are terrorists. Anybody with a beard might be a Muslim, and anybody dressed differently could be a Muslim terrorist carrying a bomb. So let's turn everybody against them. Yeah? And now, well, now as it says, they are coming for the Socialists. That includes me. That includes Jeremy Corbyn. That includes a tremendous number of people in the Labour Party. We are next. They're coming for us. Champagne socialist, they're saying. Do I look like a champagne socialist? Can you see the champagne glasses around here? We didn't even have champagne at our wedding. Champagne socialist, for crying out loud. I'm a carer who is looking after my wife on benefits that we have paid in for. But of course, you've been told, haven't you? I'm a fraud. You must hate me. You must come banging on my door and insist I go to work. Well, that's your choice. But watch it. Look at the pattern. Whether you agree with me politically or not, I don't care. Look at the pattern. It's a pattern that has been followed by every fascist regime in history. It's called divide and rule. Divided, we fight amongst ourselves. They rule. They get what they want for their top 1%. We starve. Yeah? So, divide and rule. The Tories are experts. Not only were the Tories expert at it, of course, so were, back where we began, the Nazis. The Tories aren't a joke. They're serious. And just like the Nazis, they are dangerous. Have a great week.